Good morning, everyone. We'll just allow a couple of minutes before and just let everyone flow in and we'll kick off shortly. So hang on. Cool. Well, it is 11 and so shall we kickstart, Dave? I
Yep,
think we've
let's do
got
it.
I see quite a fair bit of people flowing in, but we'll just kick off because it's going to be a pretty intense with lots of information that we want to share today. So I'll just kick off. Alrighty, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on Bluebeam Max, hosted by Interscale and Bluebeam. Really excited to have you join us on our series of webinars. And if you have joined us previously, welcome back. And if this is your first time, I hope you'll learn something useful. Our main focus today would be on creating supercharged workflows. My name is Kelvin, and I will be your MC for today. We will be going through the following topics, such as smarter markups. We're going to talk about cloud integration, connecting Revit and Bluebeam, and also intelligent document review. I will be sharing an exclusive promo for those participating today at the end of today's session. So stay to the end if you can. There will be a Q&A session right towards the end as well. But if you have any questions during the demo throughout the entire demo, just feel free to share your question in the Q&A box and we will answer them right at the end. Our two speakers for today is no other than David and Yashar. Um, David, for those who don't know him, is our graduate of architecture with over 7 years of experience in using AEC software. He's an expert in parametric design, scripting, and our in-house expert supporting customers across multiple vendors. And he also creates customized training. Yashar is a Melbourne-based technical sales engineer with over 7 years experience in the AEC software and engineering solutions. He's been helping customers with technology solutions at Bluebeam for the last 3 years at least. So without any further ado, I will pass it on to David. Dave, on to you. Oh, are you still on mute? Oh, there
Yeah,
you go.
yeah, there's like three screens that I had to go through. I'm assuming you can see the right one now.
Uh,
Oh, good.
all good.
Can you see the agenda?
No, not yet. Yep,
It says that I'm sharing it.
that's
Are you
good.
sure?
I can see the
Can you see it,
agenda.
Ishar? Ah, okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, as long as you can see it. All right, cool.
Oh, all
So
right, cool.
the first thing we'll go through is just some markup efficiency. So there's a couple new tools that are in Bluebeam Max. So we'll have a look at them and how we can kind of use them and just a couple of scenarios that we can have. I'll also introduce like Claude and how I've been started like playing with skills and doing certain things with that. And then there's actually like more some collaboration features inside of Revit. So we'll show you a bit of that as well. So I guess the first thing is our markups. So there is a new duplication feature. So that could be duplicating it in various ways. So I'll show you a couple of different things. We can also convert. So there's two different ways of converting, and I'll show you them both. And there's a new offset feature. Sometimes it's a little bit hidden. You could put it in your markup bar if you want to, but it's just O for the shortcut and multiply. So that could just help with copy pasting stuff across. So I'll show you all that as well. So just opening up Bluebeam in here. So I'll just quickly throw in like a polyline, for example. So I'm just going to pretend like I'm just going around the outside of my building, and then I'm going to just show various different things that we can use just from this one polyline. So just quickly throwing that in. If we right click, you'll see that we have our new feature. So we can convert it to something, we can duplicate it as something. So maybe I want to duplicate this as like a volume, for example. Obviously, you could just use the volume one, but I'm just going to use this as multiple things. So you can see here, it's just like 0 cubic meters, and that's because it doesn't technically have a depth. But I can use the convert. So just holding control and going over, you can see it's converted my polyline into a slab. And right away, it has 300 mils because that's what my markup already has. It has a custom hatch. I can just put it on another layer just to hide it for now. So I like to use layers to just hide stuff that I don't need at the moment. But you can see here, I still have that polyline, which is nice. So maybe I want to have like my slab edges. I can use that offset. So it's just O. It's asking me like what my distance is going to be. I can keep it in meters if I want. I can change it to whatever units I'm using. So maybe it's 300 mils. I can replace that one. I can go like inside or outside. So if I just want a line, I could just do that. So very quickly, I don't have to redraw it. I can even like offset it as a different type of markup if I really wanted to. In this case, I'm just going to convert this one into a volume. And then I'm just, again, using control, I'm just going to just double check whatever my footing is. So if I look here, my slab is 300 mils. So then I'm just going to use my 300 mil and just holding control, I can convert it. Again, you can see it brings in all the information from my markup, which is really nice. And then I'm just going to use the polygon cutout. So then I could just cut out where that slab is going to be. So just a little bit faster than just drawing it and like drawing multiple or adding like vertexes and stuff like that. So you'll see once I kind of go through it all, it will cut out this middle area. So there you go. So now I have my slab edge. And if I turn my slab layer on, I have like both of them here. So you can see I even have like it's starting to calculate the material cost. So I just have a custom column. If I go to my columns here, you can see I just put it like volume times like $65. Whether or not that's correct, I don't know, but I'll show you how Claude can start to fix all that later. But now we can start to like really get the power of our markups, right? Even like something like the offset, maybe I want like a site boundary, for example. I can just go to my offset. I can just say that it's like 3 meters off, and I could just put whatever markup I want. And then again, I can convert it later, but just to kind of show you the power of it. So like right away, it's going 3 meters out of my building. And then I could just use my site boundary tool, holding control, convert it. And now it has my line types, like custom line style. It has my label. It has like everything. So very quickly we can start to basically set out all of our markups in here. Even like things like this, where I just have like my markup that already has a footing. So I already scaled it at 200. I could just snap it into place, and you'll notice how it just grows because I have viewports set to different scales. So then I know that my footings are always the correct scale. So just double check that you have your viewports in. The viewports will be created if you export from Revit. And then I just set the scale essentially. So whatever I put in, it's always going to be to scale. Obviously draw it to whatever scale you are, set that scale, but then I can put it in. And even just using my snapping, I can go and put it in. You can do various copy paste, so Control C, Control V if you want to. If you want to be a bit more accurate, you can just do like Control and Shift. So if I just use Shift, I can move my label, but then just holding Control and Shift, it'll kind of keep it orthogonal, which is nice. And then I could just copy paste it across. Also like if I want to draw stuff, so it could be like drawing mode or properties mode. So I guess think about like what your workflow is, but essentially you can see like that's my footing, right? And it'll scale, but I can also have like a drawing mode where I can like click, click, click type of thing, and it's scaling automatically. And then my slab is similar. And they all have their depth. They have their colors. I have like a custom hatch pattern that I have in here. that I made. So it just has like a 300, just makes it visually a little bit easier. And right away it has a depth. So everything's like calculating automatically, which is really nice. Or maybe even think about like using groups. So similar to those, I just have my column, like my four columns with the depth, and my pile like capped with the depth as well. So you can see here, it's just a group, and it starts to calculate all my pricing. And if I open that up, you can see all the like five different components that are in here. And then I can just have a certain like pile cap essentially. And then instead of copy pasting, you could just use multiply instead. So just double checking 6502. I could just right click, go to multiply, and then I'm just going to change it to mils 6502. And I can like pick and choose how many copies. And I'm saying to the right, but you can go down, left, up. So you can see very quickly I've copied them across and they're accurate as well because I've scaled the drawing. And then I could just hold shift to like bring my labels down if I want to clean that up a little bit. So very quickly, like converting stuff, duplicating stuff, offsetting stuff, thinking about like groups, scaling your stuff so that it's always accurate. So relatively quickly, I can smash that through. And I like to use layers, just I guess my AutoCAD mind, like I just hide stuff and see stuff that I need. So then I can even go further with like organizing my documents. So there is a new stitch functionality. So I'll just kind of show you like maybe this building was split into like three parts and I want to put it on like one page. And then maybe even comparing them. So again, just in Bluebeam here, if I go into my stitch one, you can see I have three different drawings of the building. It's just like a little area. So I have my stitch here. If it's not there, just go into your stitching here. So just right click and show. And now it'll just ask you to select a region. I'll just make it a little bit bigger so we just have a bit more real estate, but I just go through and just create all my regions because this is where it's going to start looking. So the AI is going to try and add them. I've just added these red lines just to make it easier for where my match line is going to be. So I'm just going to match it on the grid. Try and be accurate. It will help you if it's not accurate, which you'll see, but now I can just match it to that first one. I have another match line down here to match to my third document. Sometimes the hatches start to snap, so just be mindful, I guess, where you snap, but you'll see this in a sec. So again, just snapping them all. And it's going to help you and say like, hey, these are not matched. So you can see it's not matched to page two. So I can pick that one or I can change them if I need to. But then from here, I can just say, go and stitch the drawing. It's going to try and do its thing. If I wasn't accurate, which I did on purpose here, you'll see that it gives you this warning, which is fine because you can still move it. So if I just zoom in, you'll see like I was just like slightly off. But the good thing is as I start to move it, it won't go left and right. It'll only stay up and down or depends on your match line, obviously. But then I could just continue stitching and then just say like, hey, I've got that done. So you can really see like three of my drawings of my building are stitched together relatively quickly. And then I can go and like compare it. I can overlay it. So I've already finished one. So you can kind of see that here. Obviously like these, maybe they moved, maybe they didn't. It could have just been from me not doing it great. But then like I can see like the doors changed. I can see like the revision schedule has changed. Obviously it's revision 2 now. There's like a section line here. The doors changed. Maybe the distance of the doors have changed. This one like added a door and like the tag changed. So I can really quickly start to convert that. I guess just be mindful that they are like rasterized images. So you will want to flatten it before you do that. And then just run an OCR so that it brings back all the text so then it can actually see it. Because otherwise it might not see it. Then I can just go and compare and overlay and do whatever works best for you. Even further, like I can start using Claude. So I've been testing it a bit. Just double check like what it's capable of. So, like it can do like a lot, but some stuff it can't, but you can work with it. But essentially I've made it so that it can read our title blocks. So I have two different title blocks. So it's going to create my labels. It's also going to start to put in the scales and all that kind of stuff. And I'll show you like the automated workflow. It can even do some market research and fix up some of our customized columns. So again, just opening up in here, I'm just going to close a bit of real estate. It's pretty good at knowing which ones you're open, but I just just make it easier, just having just one open. So you can see here, just double checking that I'm on my correct profile. So I want to use my flooring. So then I have my appropriate markups and my appropriate columns. So you can see, yeah, so my flooring takeoffs here. And now in Claude, I can just say, just doing my skill. So I have a skill and just make sure that you're obviously connected. Otherwise, it's not going to be able to see which one's which. So then I could just send that through. And now it's going to go through and just double check my work. So it's going to go through and check all my title blocks. So it knows the interscale and Bluebeam title block. It's going to look for the scale, the drawing number, the sheet name, where it's located. If there's various ones, obviously you can make your page labels and do that yourself and like create your regions and name it. And then obviously go through and just double check all your scales. And this is obviously under the assumption that you're not doing it inside of Revit, which I'll show you after. But it's going to pull out this information. It's going to find the location as well. And yeah, basically just read all the different title blocks. So you can see here, it's put in the name, the number, the scale as well. If there's multiple scales, then it's not going to set it, which is fine. That's what we need. So you can see right away, it's pulled out that technical school, its location, which we'll need, and what it's done. So it's created all the page labels, all the scales, and now it's saying, hey, like there's actually this one that kind of looks like maybe this is the one that you should use for your floor finisher schedule. So I can go ahead and have a look. I can see, yep, I can see my room legend. I can see my schedule. It's saying just double check that the layers or the layers are there and the scale is there. So I can check that. I can see my layers are associated, which is great. So I can say confirmed. And now it's going to go through and scan this document for what we need to do. So it's going to find all the labels. It's going to find where they are, where they need to be. And you'll see it's, I've essentially made it put in these like just dumb blocks essentially, just over my labels. So then I can start working on them. So very quickly, like 33 of them are done. And you can see it's going to start to put them into layers now. So you can see that one just came through. And now you can see it's saying like it's going through. So essentially it's going to put circulation, education, lobby, services into the appropriate layers. So if I just sort by layer, you'll see that they start to pile in. And then I could just double check it. So there you go, it's done. So I can see like all my rooms and where they are, which just helps me now because now it's going to say all the stuff. So again, I can just double check it, make sure that it's good with my schedule. It's also going to flag stuff. So you can see electrical was in services and circulation. Maybe that's what they wanted. Maybe they wanted different floorings. Maybe it's something that I need to raise. Maybe it was a mistake. Right? So I can just double check what they're like. So I don't know, maybe they did it on purpose. Even like spelling mistakes and stuff like that, it can start to catch stuff. The copy print, maybe it needed to be like that. I can see cafeteria was misspelt. Obviously, I could do my spell check inside of here as well, so I can check my spelling. But that's already flagged it for me, so I don't really have to think about it. And it's like, hey, do you want to raise an RFI? Maybe I shouldn't even start doing my work. In this case, I'm just happy to continue. And now it's going to go through and just double check that I've actually placed everything. So now it's going to say, hey, like, can you put some markups in and make a legend so that we can start to work with it? So again, I'm just using my layers. It just makes my life easier. So I can see stuff or not see stuff. So I know that my like circulation, for example, if I look here, I have like my base finish, my floor finish. I know that I'm going to use my polished concrete here. So again, just holding control and I can just go like click, click, click and just get all of my stuff done. And then again, just changing my layer to education, just double checking that it's carpet, just holding control and clicking on those little squares that I'd already made. And you can obviously make those squares bigger. I've just made them like somewhat small just to fit like the toilets. And then that's good enough for now, but you can tweak those obviously. And then I can see my tile here. So just finishing up. It's not great at picking up the walls, which is why I just made like a little square, which for what I need, it's good enough. So you can see here, it starts to pile in. All my material costs are coming through. All my areas are coming through, the type that it is, where it's located. And if I just turn on all of them, I can just hit like Control A. So I can select all of them, and then I could just right click and create my legend because maybe we need one. So you can see that here. I'm just essentially going to try and match what came from Revit. So like the colors. and just put it here. You can pick and choose what's in your legend as well, even your custom columns that you made. So maybe like we don't need that quantity, but we'll go through maybe the total cost, material, and its area. I usually just say okay and then just go back into it because it just pushes everything to the top, just makes your life easier. And then in here, I could just start to tweak the order that I want it in. So maybe I want my material type first. So you can see that here. And this is live as well. So as I start to tweak this, just move it kind of in place. So like the toilet, for example, if I start to tweak it, and actually maybe let's move this down here. So you can see like as I start to tweak, it's actually tweaking the tile inside of the legend. And I'll just do one more of this office here. So you can see the hardwood as I start to tweak it. It's starting to recalculate the costs, recalculate the areas, and everything's kind of live. And then I could just move these, just holding shift, just move that over if I needed to. So now that I've done my job, I could just say all done. Obviously, I'd go through and do it properly, but that's good enough for now. And now it's just double checking like, hey, have you done everything that we talked about? Making sure that we've done. So you can see it's done all 33 layers. It's saying, hey, like there's no room number. Would it help you if you had a room number? So it can actually create columns for you. So at the moment, I don't know what that is. So I'm just going to say, yes, please. So ideally, obviously, it'd be in a space, but which I'll show you settings in Revit later. So it could be in a space, but if there isn't one, so I'm just going to say circulation just to make our lives easier and a little bit faster. We don't need to do all of them. But you'll see it's going to go, instead of me going to custom columns, creating a custom column, giving it a name, selecting all of them, telling them which room it is, it's actually going to find where it's sitting. And you'll see here, it's going to start to create it. Just give it a sec. And then maybe I'll show you that out in a sec. But okay, yeah, perfect. So it's already made that room and you'll see it start to populate. So there you go. It's populated that. And I could just move this over just so we can like compare it to our schedule. So you can see it's in the layer circulation and I can see like 201 stair, 201 stair. So it's already located it to that actual markup itself. And I could just double check, but it's pretty accurate in that case. So now if I'm happy with that, then I can just like continue. So I want to just double check my pricing as well. So if you remember, it was checking the location of our project. So I have my total material costs that I have in my custom columns. So essentially it's just taking the material times the area. And then I have a low cost and a high cost. So I just did like plus minus 20% just in case. Just to kind of give me a gauge. And then I can just say all done. And now it's going to start to just double check all of my locations. So it's going to find that it's in Melbourne. So you'll see here, it's checking my carpets, it's checking my polished concrete, and now my flooring or my timber flooring, and then some tiles as well. So now I can see like, hey, this is what your current rate is, and this is what I've researched. Should we tweak it? Maybe, I don't know. But now you can kind of see it saying like, hey, actually your tile is below what the average range is. Maybe do you want me to change that? So it can actually change your rates for you. And then it'll go into those markups and actually change that for you, which is pretty cool. So I don't have to go custom columns, manage custom columns, get my material, change that material type. It can actually go through and just adjust those accordingly. Or I could just tell them what my, maybe I have a certain supplier that I use and I know the costing. I could put that in as well. So really quickly I could do that. Even if I just change, like I'll show you another thing, like I can build off of this as well. So I have a bit more markups in my takeoffs here. So maybe this office, for example, we have like our base finish, our floor finish, our wall finish, and ceiling finish. So for that office, wherever that is, there, conch, hardwood, gyp, and then like a standard tile. I can start to use my dynamic fill. So it's just J, and then I could just like scribble into here. Obviously play with the intensity and stuff. So how it finds those edges. So you'll see it kind of bleeds a little bit, which obviously I could just make a border, make it better than what I'm doing, just to kind of show you. But you can see I have all my stuff here. So if I need a concrete or a plasterboard, which it says there, any other lengths I have, maybe even my base finish, which is concrete, whatever you really need in here, you can kind of sort them out. But that just means I can hit apply, and you can see here, like I have my concrete already done, and it already has what I need it to look like. It's 300 mils, and my plasterboard on my wall area and my ceilings are done and my floor is done for that room. So there's quite a bit that you can start to do, which is pretty cool. Obviously, this is under the assumption that you got like a PDF that doesn't have any of this information. But if you are working in Revit and doing your markups in Review, or maybe you have like one department that's in Revit and then they give you guys the PDFs to export out, you can actually start to tweak that in Revit itself. So it actually has a lot of settings in there that we can actually tweak. So definitely looking at those settings. So I'll show you a couple examples. Even though that all that sheet labels and sizing and everything, and even the viewports will come out of Revit if you have it. And same with if you're not using rooms, definitely use it because then that room information will bring in areas and spaces. So then you can even like tag like, hey, there's like 5 lights in like room 1, for example. Um, and then we'll have a look at review sessions. So Yashar and I will jump in and we'll just have a look at how we can collaborate in it. So just closing out of this stuff and just make it a little bit bigger for some more real estate. So you'll see here, if you remember when we were going through and let me just open one up and adjusting these page labels. Sorry, let me finish my thought. You can change it in here. So just go to the add-ins tab and change. And in here, you can see that. So I can even start a session from here if I want to. All my file properties, I can export the sheet names and their properties, which means when I go into Bluebeam, 2 seconds. Now I have my page settings, so I don't even have to create those labels. You can see it's already pulled out all that information. So Revit carries that over, which is really nice. So maybe I don't even have to do those page labels, or maybe if you want to change them. And then even my rooms. So provided I have rooms, obviously, I can bring them in as spaces or area measurements. So I have another one that's like room settings. So you can see that here. It's brought in those rooms and it already has areas, which means then I can just go to my whatever it is, and I can just hold control again and just convert it. And it converts that into my concrete, for example. So maybe that's even faster than what we were doing in Claude. Obviously, under the assumption that you have that ability. Obviously, the page labels are done. And even like just remembering that there's also spaces as well. If you need to get that like nitty gritty, you can go into the spaces. I think the room settings one already had that one. Let me just double check in my spaces here. Yeah, there we go. So you can see ground floor and it put in all those. So maybe we don't need Claude to like put in the rooms because it's already there. You can see it's already picked up all that information. And then in my markup list, it can say like, hey, in that storage, it has it. So yeah, two different two different methods. It really depends on what you're working with, what kind of departments you have, if you have both or not. And then just like studio sessions. So again, making sure that we have our statuses because this is kind of important when we're doing it. You have to do it before you put it into a session, otherwise you can't really tweak it. So I'm just going to do like completed and accepted just so you can see. And then I could put that into a studio session. Just one thing to note is that you can't be in them at the same time, but that's fine. So you'll see that in a sec. So just opening up Revit. Um, Again, just in my add-ins tab, and then I can go into my connected sessions, which will just be like, it'll probably put it here by default, but I just moved it off to the side just to make it easier. So now I don't have to jump between the two. I can actually just go into here. So this is the session that Yashar and I made. And you'll see that it'll bring in where these markups are once it loads. So there you go. So I can see like where it is. So like which page I can like go into here and I can even like leave a comment. So I can like see that here. So if I did do it, I can just go in and just like hide my, is my mouse working? Oops, not that. View hide. Uh, in my 2 seconds. So I can hide that out and then I could just say like, let me just go back. And probably should be doing it in a proper plan, but you can see if I click on that little blue dot on my other screen here, it's actually gone to here. So now I could just say that this is like completed, for example. And then maybe there were some other ones that like this one I'm not like 100% sure of. Or maybe I don't have time, like we don't have time to do it right now. So I'm just going to say that this is accepted and it's going to like give me all the details. And that's going to go into Bluebeam session, which you'll see in a sec. And if you're sure, if you're in it, just start putting a couple of markups while I show that you can also see them in 3D. So you can see I have some of this stuff in 3D. I just made like some three, it's technically going to be all, but I just split it up so you can kind of see like by floor plans, you can see like all the markups. So if you want to see them in 3D, you can as well. But as Yashar is doing it in the background, I can even like filter by certain things. I can go and like check what has Yashar done, for example. So I can go here and it will like jump into like the areas that it is. Let's find this PowerPoint, for example. So you can see that Yashar put that in. And if I go back into my review and I go into this, it's going to kick me out of the other one. So you'll see the warning that you get in a sec. So can I bring, yeah, there we go. See how it like disconnects, which is fine. That's how it's supposed to be. But you can see here. So remember when I said that this is completed, it turned that green. Those are the ones that Ishara was doing, and this is the one that I'm gonna do later, for example. So that's why it's blue. So I don't have to go into here. It could just be in Revit and I can fix everything, send that through, and we're kind of working together. And as Yashar is doing that stuff inside of Revit, I could be doing it. So maybe he's marking it up and I'm changing it at the same time. So it's pretty powerful in that regard. And then I think that's all I've got. So Yashar, you can do your bit. Pass it off to you.
Yep,
Sweet.
beautiful. Thanks, David. A
No
lot of
problem.
information go through. All right, I'm sharing my screen here. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, we can
Might
see it.
start with another example of stitching functionality here, which is very powerful. Previously, we've been asked about this functionality to be added and available. So now we've got it. It's available in Max. I'm going to talk about it a bit further. So basically, BlueBeam-Max offers stitching functionality which automatically combines multiple drawing pages into one continuous view. It's very ideal for roads, rails, infrastructure projects where we have a lot of drawings or the drawings are in a very large scale. And then by using advanced computer vision, BlueBeam Max Max is stitching functionality in BlueBeam Max automatically aligns drawings and connects all these seams between pages. So we don't really need to print out the pages. We don't need to bring them and put them on the wall. It's just, it's a fully digitized process. Let's take a look at this example I've got on the screen. So this one is a very large project, and it's got 17 pages. First of all, just navigating through these pages is so difficult. It's a lot of details in it, and if I just want to do measurements or markup on the plans, it's a big problem to navigate. And also, you see that the match lines or the areas are not straight lines or easy. I've got this one set up, so once we run stitching functionality for such a large project, it might take a few minutes, but obviously we can see that I'm working on a very large file. It's got 16 pages and it takes a bit of time, but as it starts, it's gonna start creating a full plan view, placing, orientating them, and ensuring that they're all very well positioned. So let's take a look at the result from here. Right now it's initiating this process. And after that, it creates the plan and start placing all the segments into one single drawing. Something which is a challenge is that we may not have a very well aligned stitch lines, or sometimes software may just find that there are some discrepancies. But the great point of this feature is that it doesn't stop. So if I've got some sort of regions that the match lines they are not aligned, we get an error exactly as you can see in here, and we have this sort of time to align it ourselves manually. We can position it a bit further into the position, and then we can continue stitching. So we don't really, it doesn't get interrupted by having stitch lines not in the right position. Then from there, I can continue that, and it continues to start adding the rest of the components. So yeah, take a look at this project. It's a very large file. If I zoom in, you can see a lot of details, but Bluebeam can process that very well. And then from this point, what we can do, we can, by knowing some known dimensions on the plan, for example, I know the distance from this point to here is, let's say, 1.5. I can use the alignment I can use the calibration to calibrate. Put 1.5, apply the scale, and now my plan has already been scaled. And from this point onward, I can start measuring to just measure the full length of this road, or just start adding markup and also save this file as a separate document. All right, now what I would like to talk about, I want to talk about two other powerful features within Bluebeam Max, and they are called Smart Overlay and Smart Review. So for those who are familiar with overlay and compare functionalities, we have some powerful features within Bluebeam, such as compare, such as overlay, where we can overlay one layout of one version on another to identify the changes, or we can run compare to compare version 1 to version 2, and then software automatically mark up all the changes from one version to another. These are some of the most powerful and popular features of Bluebeam. Many of our users, they use these functionalities to quickly identify the changes in construction. We face with a lot of changes, and we can quickly find those discrepancies on the plans. But now with the Max introduction, we have some additional features added, which are called Smart Overlay and Smart Review. So I'm going to touch on those ones for today. Let's open up these two drawing sets in here. I've got my first revision, I've got my original plan, which is 64 pages, and then I've got my second revision, which is 11 pages. So with Bluebeam Max, we not only have we not only have like compare overlay functions, we also now have new features such as Smart Overlay and Smart Review. Smart Overlay is AI-powered feature in the Max, and it automatically compare two drawing sets and just find the corresponding matches. It highlights and removed or modified contents in red and new contents in green. And what is powerful about a smart overlay is the fact that it creates it sets for us automatically. So if I've got a large set of drawings and there are so many different sets we need to place on, we can automatically create a set in a smart overlay feature. Also, it gives us a dashboard, a very interactive dashboard, that from the dashboard we can clearly see how much change we have had in different sets. So let's run that and just explore that sort of area. I don't really need to spend some time to find the corresponding pages from one version to another. All I need to do is just jump into my batch and just jump into Smart Overlay, and then select my, just define a name for that. For example, I'm just call it document review or document overlay, and then just call it, for example, Bluebeam Max. And then what I need to do is just define my, select my version 1. So my version 1 is, as an example, original pages, 64 pages. And then here, I just select my version 2. So we can just remove it from there and select version 1. So from there, just press continue. And what is happening is those plans and documents, they get uploaded into my Bluebeam Cloud Portal. And in Bluebeam Cloud Portal, it creates a set for me automatically. It finds the corresponding pages in the new version, creates a dashboard for me, and all the processing happening on the cloud. So I might just jump into the result in here to show you how it looks like. So this is the result. The file has been created. It gets saved in my Bluebeam Cloud Portal. So in my Bluebeam Cloud, now I've got a new sort of icon or a new tab in here, which is called Smart Results. When I click on that, the project gets saved in here. and it tells me it's a smart overlay command which got initiated from the software, and all the data gets stored in here. Smart overlay. So this one, we can see it in here. And now from there, I've got my first version, I've got my second version overlaid on the corresponding pages. Also, it creates for me an interactive area in here with all the sets. For example, all my civil files are stored in here. All my landscaping pages are here. All the architectural pages are here. And if there are some missing pages in the new sets, obviously I don't get that there. But if I just scroll through here, you can see, for example, on this page, which is landscaping page, I've got, as an example, 37 matching. So that 3% differences, which are all those small texts which are added in the new version. Or when I moved here, so this one is a missing page. And then I can easily just jump into my sets. And for example, if I'm only interested in looking at structural changes, I can jump into structural and just navigate through them page by page. So for example, in the structural section, I've got all these pages, and for example, page S111, can jump in here and again, just navigate through all of those details and changes. We can also zoom in and look at the details, or there are also other sort of navigation and move functions available in here. So that's pretty much around smart overlay. Now let's take a look at another feature which we didn't have that previously, and that's called Smart Review. And Smart Review is again a feature which is added to Max, and is again an AI-powered feature that analyzes drawing sets to identify design discrepancies, coordination issues, and missing information. It presents finding in a centralized dashboard, very similar to Smart Overlay, and with all the clouds around sort of design issues or missing information that software identifies by analyzing the plan and drawing. Then from there, we can export the data, we can generate some reports out of that, or we can again store all the sort of findings and information in our Bluebeam cloud. Also, we can share the information. So for example, I just run the smart overlay or a smart review, and then I want to share those information from my with my other project partners. All I can do, I can just send them a link so they can get access to my dashboard and they can see them there. So I don't really need to send out the files to someone else. Now let's just jump into smart review function and take a look at that one as well. So I just run a smart review on second revision, which is this one here. So it's an airport project. There are some missing tags or missing door tags or some missing information that smart review can find them all for me. So jump into batch, and then we can just jump into smart review, upload the file or files in here, and then again just name it. And when I press continue, the file get uploaded into my Bluebeam portal. So when I jump in here, the results become available again in my Bluebeam cloud, smart results in here. So we can see smart plan review, the date created, and also the file name, which is exactly what we defined in the software. And when I jump in here, this is what we get. We get an interactive dashboard with all the sort of issues per pages or issues per priority that software identify for me. So if I jump into the plan, we can see all those sort of markups that software identified and generated for me. So let's take a look at these ones here. There are 21 issues that have been found. So again, if I zoom in here, we can just see some of those ones. For example, this one here says that the reference sheet cannot be found in the drawing set. That's why this has been found. And now, for example, this is not something very critical or important. So what I can do, I can just jump into that specific markup that software has identified for me, and I just say that this is not an important issue. I can just jump in here and just close and resolve it. Or if there are some issues that they are not of a high priority, we can just reduce down the priority, and that get all of those sort of changes get updated into my interactive dashboard. So from the dashboard, we can clearly see how many issues are identified, how many of them are important, are low priority, and then also when we get them resolved, we can just move them to resolve, or for example flagged closed flagged or resolved, or they are still under review. And again, from here, we can generate different type of reports out, either save the reports on the cloud, or we can export the reports as Excel or different formats and just download them as well. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much it around stitching functionality, smart review, and smart overlay. David touched on the cloud aspect of the software and how Bluebeam can interact with cloud. I've got also another example which I would like to present to you around Bluebeam connected to cloud interface. So now let's just jump into that one here. Here I've got a plan in here, and I've got a markup tool in my tool chest which I use for installing, and then run a safety check, and then scheduling a maintenance for electrical devices such as smoke detectors. So these are the 3 steps process that needs to be followed when we install electrical device, for example, a smoke detector. A designer place over a smoke detector in the right location. Once it is located, someone on site, just when they complete the installation, they need to change the status from installation completed to scheduling the maintenance, and all of them, they are stored in the status box. So as an example here, the first step is to jump into smoke detector and say, okay, we installed that. But then after that, we need to make sure that we run a safety check. So once the safety check has been completed, we also have to make sure that we schedule the maintenance, which is scheduled for 25th of June 2027. So this is a long process because there are so many electrical components that we need to install, and we need to run the safety check or schedule the maintenance for. And this is just a very small example, which I only got 5. So we end up having a list of items in our markup list with a lot of statuses in here, and some of them may miss the status, or some of them may not. So, but then at the end of the day, we just want to run a report quickly, just generate a report of all the smoke detectors that, for example, they have got some missing steps. For example, they missed the safety check step. And this is just the example. Now, instead of just coming here and applying different type of filters or extract like a summary and then just jump into my report and try to filter data from there and just have some sort of errors of missing some of the components that they miss some steps, all I can do, I can just jump into my cloud interface, which is connected to my Bluebeam, and then run a simple prompt, and software can quickly just highlight all those sort of markups that or components that they have missing steps. So this is a project. First of all, in Cloud, we can define projects and have all our prompts or commands saved in our projects. As an example here, I've got 2 projects. One is floor takeoff project and one is a smoke detector inspection. So when I jump into a smoke detector inspection, there are different commands over different projects I applied or I just ran this command for. So now, for example, for this one here, all I can do just jump into my prompt library and capture the prompt and place it over in here. So this is a prompt which we can run here. In the active document on page 3, please check the complete status history of smoke detectors markups to ensure each one goes through all required workflow steps in the following sequence. First of all, we need to install them. The installation is completed, run a safety check, and then schedule a maintenance. If in case any of them are missing any of these steps, just mark them up, change the color of the markup, and type down here for me, workflow violation, please check. So it's a very simple sort of command. We can save it in our prompt library, so we don't really need to type it again and again. And then we just run that. And what Claude does for me, it just check the page for me, jump into my software, check page 3, and then if there's some of these markups missing those steps, it highlight them for me, and also it just give me a report in the Claude AI interface as well. So all of them happens very quickly. So now let's take a look at the result in here as well. All right, so now we can see the first one installed, the safety check has been completed, and the maintenance has been also scheduled. But this one, this markup here, which turned to red color, we can see that there is a violation in here because the installation is completed, but we forgot to schedule the maintenance. Sorry, the safety check has been skipped. The maintenance is scheduled, but the safety check is skipped. So we didn't run a safety check for that. That's why we've got that sort of markup color change, and also we get the result as well. Yeah, I think I can see this one as well, that it is still in progress. So this item here, I believe we haven't completed maintenance, or we haven't scheduled the maintenance, but since software identifies that this is in progress, it didn't change the color to red yet. And then from there, we can generate a report. So imagine that you've got a list of components you place over hundreds of electrical components using markup. And then, yeah, just, running a command here can just streamline the process of generating reports of electrical devices that they've got some safety or scheduled missing from the list. Something else I just wanted to add about Cloud is that we can have a template of a lot of instructions and processes already saved in our storage system, in our SharePoint, and we can connect all of them to our Cloud. So in here, we've got a connector we can define, or we can just add plugins. Or for example, if I jump into the connector here, browse for connectors, it gives me a list of all my document management systems or platforms that Cloud can connect to. In a workflow that I was looking, one of our clients just had all the sort of estimation templates with rates and prices and materials and costs saved in a template. They have them all stored in their, for example, SharePoint, and then they had their Cloud connected to the SharePoint. So once they were just doing a lot of takeoff, all they need to do, they just jump into the Cloud, write the prompt, go to my SharePoint, grab my template, and take all the takeoffs from Bluebeam, put them in my template, calculate based on the rates is stored in my template, and just give me estimation report. And that's a very sort of fast way of creating estimation. So we can use Bluebeam for the takeoff, and we have all our rates stored. So that's a sort of workflow that I can see is very impressive, and we can also look at that as a very powerful sort of approach using Bluebeam Cloud, Bluebeam Max, utilizing Cloud for that purpose as well. All right, I think that's pretty much it from my side. Yep, back to you, Kelvin.
Yeah, thank you so much, Yashar. Dave, that was amazing. A lot of information, and I know you're trying to squeeze as much as you can into those two smaller sessions, but I could really see where the potentials are. Just because it's already 11:51 and very conscious of the time, there's a lot of questions that came through. I'm just gonna quickly go through some of the things that I want to mention before we jump into the Q&A. Just some announcement about Interscale and what we can do. So if you ever need help with things like app development, Beam consultation, licensing, please feel free to reach out to us and have a chat. We're also ISO certified business, just to give you some confidence in partnering with us. And before I jump into the exclusive offer for today, shall we go to the questions, Yashar and Dave? I know there's a lot, so I'll let you guys
there's a
pick.
lot.
Yeah.
I was trying to read quickly so that we can try and multitask. I guess I'll just go through the ones that I know for sure, and then Nishar, maybe you could do the other one. So it was like from Alex, can you create skills in Claude to automate the room takeoff and highlight the rooms counted to help with quantity checking the count? I've done something similar for it reading the tables in a plan. So I needed to like make sure that all the tables were there. So it went through and checked all the tags, and I put like a little check mark, and then that created a check for me. So it does have the capability of finding where those areas are. So yeah, I mean, in creating skills, like even my skill, I was like, I put a list of like what I think it needs to do, and then like I worked with it. So you're gonna take some time to like understand what it can or cannot do. Inside of Claude, it'll say like it can like do certain things, and it can't do other things. But there's a whole list. Maybe I'll quickly share my screen. Let me just make Claude bigger. Let me find where my zoom is too, and move you guys here. Share this one. So have a look here. This is just in the connector itself. So I can like just double check. So like it can do quite a bit. Obviously you can just say like yes or no if it gives you um, access to it and stuff. But have a look at here. So you might need to tweak like how you're prompting it. But in general, like you'll create like a little skill file. Like that's what I have here. And you can see like I went through like a lot and I said like, hey, this is what you do. I was like, if you can't do this, can you do it this way? So it's good at extracting like text. Also be mindful, like the way my title block was, like we read left to right, for example, but Claude is reading down and like always down, up or up, down, like that in like columns. So then I had to like kind of tweak how I spoke to it. So there's little things like that that you'll probably have to think about. But definitely have a look at like what it is. But yeah, like counting wise, it was really good at that. Um, Let me see what else. There was another Claude one. Read can from say just wondering through Bluebeam Max and Claude MCP, can it read markups, model symbols, and convert them into the model elements? I think that was kind of like what Yashar showed. It can do certain things. I tried to like even with that room takeoff, I tried to like give it like my markup and use that. But I don't know, like I just recently got it fixed to like allow me to add the markup. So maybe that's why I was running into the issues. So check what it gives permissions, but I think it should be able to replace it. Like it replaced it on yours, Ishar. So I'm assuming I just didn't have that enabled. Mine was like denied.
Mhm.
Um,
Got a question here because I think
yeah,
this
go
one
for
is
it.
a very popular one. Does Bluebeam have any function to vectorize raster drawing files? Yes, it is called OCR and it is available in the document section.
Here, it's just here.
Document OCR.
OCR,
Yeah,
this one.
yeah, that one.
And that's what I did when I stitched it as well, because I lost that content. When it stitches, it
Yep.
made it into like a raster. So I had to bring it back into a vector. If you see other ones that jump out at you, Yashar, go for it.
Yeah, I can. Uh, about Bluebeam Max with hydraulic drawings. So what benefits will Bluebeam Max have for hydraulic service contractors? I think hydraulic specifications and standards can be used to as a reference, and then Smart Review can just review plumbing plans and drawings and just cross-check with the standards and specifications. So I'd say Smart Review would be something. Also, if you want to do the takeoff and also just want you have got a templates with all the pricing and just want to do the, I don't know if you're using it for any takeoff and estimation or just that one also Claude can be used for that purpose as well. Claude in Bluebeam, Claude integration with Bluebeam. With the
Mhm.
Smart Review, can you add your own comments to it and share? So a Smart Review automatically generates all the sort of comments. At some point, if you want to add, you can use the manual sort of markup adding as well. But when once it's added to the platform, it's pretty much a dashboard with all the markups being added that we can just change the priorities. We can at that point we cannot add any sort of markup unless you just want to open up the file in your Bluebeam Cloud environment and just add the markup using markup functions in Bluebeam Cloud. Because at any point you can use that plan to add markups anyway.
I see one from Geo about breaking down quantities for each plan separately. For the legend, for example, that I did, you can just say like this is just for this page, or you can say all of them. So if you want, you could just have it on like your cover page and it'll calculate all of them. Or you can just do per per page. So just double check in here when you go to your properties of that legend, there'll be a mention here that says like just this page, for example, provided that's what you want. Or it could be spaces like how we had here. It could be like, it'll say, if I put a markup, it's going to say ground floor admin room. So then I can break it up that way as well. So it depends how you want to break stuff up, but you could definitely do that.
There's also a question about the Bluebeam Max incorporated, integrated with Procore. Yes. So not just Max, but all the Bluebeam versions, they can connect to Procore for document and also submittal reviews. Please jump into Bluebeam integration directory or just Google Bluebeam integration directory. You can see Procore listed there and also explain the workflow and also how to set that up.
And then that hosted one's probably an important one. I don't know about the cloud one, but I know definitely here, like check, like I put it on the US Studio just because it was easier to integrate with my Revit one. But you can pick like Australia as well. I don't know how about the smart review and overlay. How does that, where does that sit, Yashar? Do you know?
Um, in
Are all the documents uploaded to Cloud Portal hosted in Australia only?
yes, Australia, yeah.
Apologies, guys. Just being
Are we
conscious
over
of
time?
time because it is
Yeah.
we have 1 minute left.
Okay, yeah.
For
Well, I'll email
audience,
you
yeah,
guys.
we will come back to you on all the questions that we haven't answered. So for those who have shared a question and we have not answered them, we will come back to you via email. Um,
Yeah, you
and
can
just
share screen back, or do you want me to do it? I
yeah,
can.
I'll just quickly share
Oh,
my screen. But
I already got it up.
oh,
I
you
got
already
it
got
up
it?
for you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially, just for those who are participating today, we are offering a complimentary 1 hour Bluebeam session for the first three companies who reach out to us. Look, we can use that for anything related to Bluebeam. So to reach out to us ASAP. And otherwise, thank you so much for your time. And I hope you get something valuable out of today's session. I certainly did. It was very impressive. So thank you so much, Yashar, David again. And I hope to see you on the next webinar.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. I also
Thanks,
posted like our
everyone.
YouTube link, our other like webinars and stuff in the chat if you guys are interested to see replays, but we will send you out a replay and we'll respond to everyone that we haven't responded to yet.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cool.
All right, are you gonna end it, Cal?
Yep.